Whoa, boy. Welcome into Rover Sports. How is everybody today? Got to talk about the New York Giants. Got to talk about Odell Beckham. He gives me an excuse to talk about him. Last week, his temper tantrum on the sidelines was totally awful. And I've been a guy that has pretty much been anti-Odell getting the contract. I'm not a wide receivers fan per se. And Odell Beckham making that kind of money is pretty egregious. Odell in the past has kind of been loose with his actions, the kicking net, going to Miami the week of a playoff game. He knew it was wrong, and he probably would admit that it was wrong. Odell's a great player. He's extremely talented, but I believe that his actions outweigh his talents, and I'm going to present the reasons why. Odell Beckham is a flashy player for sure, very flashy, and at times I would argue that Odell is selfish. Last week, with the game still on the line, Odell Beckham threw another temper tantrum where he was visibly frustrated. He was stamping his feet on the sidelines, not showing composure, and then people in the comments will say, the devil's advocate would say, oh, well, sometimes showing frustration can be a good thing. Look at Tom Brady, look at Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines. The point is that Odell Beckham, visibly frustrated. In the locker room then after the game, he did not give any signs that he was going to be improving with this team. And Odell Beckham, as a wide receiver, it is your job to help accompany the offense. It's your job to help prop up your guys, play to the strength of the team. You need to be an unselfish player when you're a wide receiver. Cornerbacks can be as selfish as they want. They're on an island. But wide receivers need to block. They need to play in the structure of the offense. The structure of this offense that the Giants have, and if he wants to win, it's a short passing game. He has the best cornerbacks that are often on him, and his quarterback is old, and his quarterback is playing bad, okay? Even though I like Eli Manning is playing really poorly. It looks like it's his last year. He looks like he's done. He's been playing terrible. But just because Eli's playing terrible doesn't mean that you go off, do an interview with Josina Anderson, and you completely throw your teammate under the bus saying that he sucks, saying that he can't complete a 20-yard throw, and we can't complete a 20-yard throw. That's airing your dirty laundry. He's creating a wedge with the team right now. The team is not supporting Eli Manning as their quarterback, and when you don't support your teammates, your performance gets a lot shittier. When there's a divide in the locker room, your teammates get shittier. And Odell Beckham is dividing the team. And a lot of people will say there's Eli people and there's Odell Beckham people. Odell Beckham, by saying that his team can't complete a 20-yard pass, that's directly talking to Eli Manning. So whose fault is it of this team? I would argue that the start has to do with Eli Manning. But if Eli Manning's ever going to play better, if this team is ever going to gel, he needs all the help in the world. And do you think Odell Beckham is helping Eli become anywhere near average? Because Eli is sucking. But do you think Eli is going to like those comments by Odell? You think he's going to stick his neck out for Odell now and try to come up to playing mediocre football? No. Eli's probably going to be a lot worse now. Do you think that the rest of the team, when they hear Odell going off and doing those interviews, it's a selfish move? Throwing your teammates under the bus, throwing the coaching staff under the bus. That's what he's doing. He's dividing himself from Shermer and Eli Manning. This team right now is divided. And I can argue it's because of Odell Beckham. He's very talented, okay? He's a great football player. But is he going to be a guy chemistry-wise that you can win with? And I would say no. I would say he's too much about himself. That's what I would say about Odell Beckham. And he's tossing the blame, and Odell is out there rolling his eyes. Here's an example a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago when Eli Manning was average, and he wasn't terrible like he is now, his offensive line with Jerry Reese and Ben McAdoo was not a great coach's coach, okay? Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese drafted Eric Flowers and terrible offensive linemen. Eli Manning had ample opportunity to go to the media and say, you know what, we're not protecting. Our offensive line's not battling. But you know what Eli would say to his you know what Eli would say about the offensive line? He had their back. He'd say, I got to get rid of the ball faster sometimes when they're blitzing. Our offensive line is battling their tails off. We're continuing to get better. And those offensive linemen, in fear, they would work harder that next week and they would buy in because Eli Manning didn't trash the offensive line when the offensive line needed to be trashed. I would argue, how is it positive for the New York Giants if Odell Beckham is trashing Eli Manning? How is that going to help the team beat the Carolina Panthers? How? You could say Eli Manning sucks. I get that argument. You could say you feel bad for Odell Beckham. But for Odell Beckham, he's not helping the New York Giants. A lot of people have Odell in fantasy. A lot of people, I believe, are just Odell Beckham fans and not New York Giants fans. The best thing for this organization is to get rid of Odell Beckham. That's it. I've had enough. Okay? Okay? You got me. You got me. I've had enough. If Odell wins with the New York Giants, I'm a New York Giants fan. I'm going to support that. I'll support Odell Beckham and the Giants winning. I will. I'll support the team winning. But you know what? It's tough to like Odell Beckham when he trashes everybody on the team. It is. And it's a civil war amongst Giants fans. And people, let's call it how it is. You have Odell, you have Eli Manning. And that's what the media wants. That's what ESPN wants. That's what they want. This team, they need to start drafting guys that love playing for the New York Giants. I get where Odell Beckham is coming from. With at college at LSU, it was more of a friend camaraderie program. He's an articulate guy. I can understand what he is talking about. I don't think that the Giants are the right fit for him. He's talking about how at college, him and his buddies would play football. It was less corporate. Les Miles was there. And Les Miles is much more of a player's coach than Pat Shurmur certainly is. Okay? Les Miles, not Joe Oliva, Dave Aranda. Who was on that team? Was Honey Badger on that team? I know Jarvis Landry was on that team. Zach Mettenberger's a college student on that team. Okay? Jeremy Hill is a running back on that team. So at LSU, his best friends, the wide receiver room, it wouldn't be like Zach Mettenberger wouldn't go home and have kids. They'd all be in class. They'd all be battling it out. It was more fun to play football there. That makes perfect sense, but unfortunately, that's not really the NFL. You look at Saquon Barkley, he has a family. Look at Eli Manning, has a family. You know, so I get it. It's kind of an interesting divide, and that's why Davis Webb was tighter with Odell Beckham. That's why Ingram and Shepard are, because you have single guys, you know, that are, or you have guys without kids living in apartments, and then you have Eli Manning, and then you have, you know, Saquon, and you have certain guys on the team that are older. Alec Ogletree, I think, has kids, so he isn't hanging out either. So then you have a huge divide. Then you have Gettleman, Pat Shurmur. They're not at all like Les Miles. Watch the big cat drills at LSU with Les Miles. So that's where the disconnect is coming in, and he said that very articulately, or I can't even say articulately. I'm the opposite of articulate with that comment there, but he said it to Josina Anderson. The fact is, with Odell Beckham, I believe that he wants catches. I believe he wants stats and to be a Hall of Famer. There's nothing wrong with it, but it does conflict with the blueprint of how the Giants are going to win games. The Giants have Eli. They're going to have Locke or Herbert. This is not a high-powered offense. He's going to a place where it's a run the football, play defense kind of a place. And the way that I like New York Giants, I like team above player. That's just how I am. That's how I think great teams are. That's my core belief. And with Odell Beckham insulting Eli Manning here, the fact is I didn't like the boat trip. I didn't like Norman and him going at it, okay? He did great in the training camp period. He went to training camp. Okay, he did well. I said, okay, I'll give him a chance, but you're giving him way too much money, I believe. And this team has a lot of different holes on the team, and they're 1-3. It's not all his fault, but the fact is he's just putting gasoline on a damn fire. The Giants are a desperate team. Their offensive line is okay. It's a lot better than people are making credit for. 75% of the blame, probably for the season, is Eli Manning. And then maybe 65 is Eli Manning. And then we can go about 20 to the offensive line and maybe the rest to the coaching staff. Okay? For the overall team. So, you know Eli Manning is old. You know Eli Manning has limited abilities. Do you think that going to do an interview is going to make Eli Manning play better and help this team win? I think the answer is no. Do you think Eli Manning likes working with a guy that goes behind his back to do an interview and says we can't complete a 20-yard pass? How would you feel if you were the quarterback of the New York Giants and your star receiver is saying that? And then every single question in the media is, why are you not feeding Odell Beckham the ball? You would lose your damn mind. And I'm sure Eli Manning wants to lose his damn mind. And as a fan, it's frustrating because Odell Beckham is a divisive character. I believe he wants attention. And until the Giants get rid of Odell Beckham, they are not going to win in this league. Flat out, they're not. And you're going to keep having problems. And Dave Gettleman, you know what Dave Gettleman did? Dave Gettleman was tough on Steve Smith. Dave Gettleman was tough on Olsen and Thomas Davis to the point that players didn't like him. But he rolled over like a puppy to give Odell Beckham his cash. Rolled over at the Maras. The Maras steamrolled the guy. And I can tell you exactly why. You go to training camp, and this is the truth of it all. You go to training camp. I just had sugar. I'm pretty amped up. And the topic is an interesting topic. You go to training camp, and Odell Beckham, every kid loves Odell Beckham. He's flashy. He's a great, great player. He is marketable. He is an electric guy that brings in so much cash. So much cash. That's why ESPN talks about him. He is a showman. And he brings money in for the Maras. And the fact is, that's why Dave Gettleman, that's why the Giants gave him that contract and locked him up. Because he's going to keep giving money. His jersey's going to keep getting bought. But that's not how you're going to win football games. You win football games with receivers like Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. You win football games with receivers like D.D. Westbrook, okay? Like D.D. Westbrooks, okay? You win football games with receivers like Chris Conley and Tyreek Hill, who's a B-plus receiver, okay? Cooper, and Nelson. Look at the Chargers receivers. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Look at the teams that win in the NFL. You could say the Patriots. That's a common one, right? But look at the teams with the best receivers in the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins, his offense is not that great right now. Antonio Brown, best receiver, outspoken, wants the football, combating with Big Ben. Team sucks. Look at the New Orleans Saints, the team the Giants just played last week. Kamara, Ingram, but then you have Ted Ginn. You have Ted Ginn, you have Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas. Nowhere near the marketability of an Odell Beckham Jr. Completely different persona than Odell Beckham Jr. is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, I believe, is less selfish than Odell Beckham Jr. Okay? I'm going to put that out there. Brandon Cooks, yes. And oftentimes the best players are selfish. And oftentimes what makes them great is that they demand the football. And great wide receivers have been that way. T.O., Randy Moss. But T.O. and Randy Moss couldn't stay on a team for longer than 4 years. They were the best players. They are Hall of Famers. But again, they had 1 year. Randy Moss had that great year in New England and then Philadelphia, T.O. But they didn't stay. They didn't get along with quarterbacks. They didn't get along with people. What I'm saying for the Giants is I would vote getting rid of Odell for these reasons, okay? And then I'm going to get back to my Gettleman point. The reason one, Miami trip, Josh Norman, and he's just too selfish. He's unpredictable, too selfish. He complains, his body language, he's wild, too wild, unpredictable, okay? And he's not in it with these guys. Not in it with the quarterback. Not in it with the head coach. And right now, he's creating a divide. You don't think he's going to Shepard and saying, this sucks playing with Eli Manning, this sucks, this sucks? I mean, Odell Beckham is not going to have perfect quarterbacks his whole career that are just going to spoon feed him the ball. He's not going to have that his entire career. He's going to be with quarterbacks that get old. He's going to be with head coaches that don't cater to him on a daily basis. He's going to be playing some games where he doesn't get the football a lot. And I'm afraid that he's going to be so upset that he's going to cause the locker room to become a lot worse. This locker room right now is horrendous. Horrendous right now. The body language on the sideline, it's terrible. This team is not good. The Giants need all the help they can get. By giving Odell Beckham, it is just a character that divides the locker room. And as a Giants fan, Dave Gettleman said you don't quit on talent, but this guy is not helping the football team. He is taking away the football team. He is going at Eli Manning, going at the head coach. Everybody in the NFL needs to be going in the right direction. Chemistry is a big deal in sports. Odell Beckham is not adding to the Giants' chemistry right now. We can get receivers in the building. It's not a prerequisite to have amazing receivers. You can have a great defense. You can have Saquon Barkley running the ball. You can have Sterling, Evan Ingram. Receivers come out of nowhere. Victor Cruz was not drafted in 7 rounds. And he's one of the greatest receivers in our franchise's history. One of the greatest receivers in our franchise history. And now here's another point to Odell Beckham. When Odell Beckham showed up, Victor Cruz decided to go to Miami on that boat trip as well. Because Odell Beckham is powerful. He wields power in the locker room, and he causes guys to go into that college mindset of let's go to Miami, let's do this and that. And as a leader, do you want guys to be doing that? Because Victor Cruz, before Beckham got there, he was not doing that kind of stuff. Ask yourself, was he doing that? Because Odell Beckham's talking to Sterling Shepard right now, Evan Ingram, and I'm sure these receivers, because Odell Beckham is the most powerful guy in the organization. The wealthiest guy in the organization, the best player on the organization, the face of the organization. It ain't Eli Manning anymore. And Eli's never been that type of leader. Eli's never, and that's the disconnect. No one's rowing in the same direction. He's going over to Shepard and Ingram, and he's saying this quarterback sucks. And they're probably laughing, and you know what they're saying? They're saying, geez, you know what? Dude, Eli is horrible. Our coaching staff never calls passes more than 20 yards. But you know what? If you're around quieter guys, if you're around guys that listen to the head coach, that run the routes, are happy, genuinely thrilled when you run for a touchdown, when you don't get the football, cheering up your defense even when you have no catches at all. That's the kind of player that I want. Selfless teammates. Was Odell Beckham's interview selfless with Josina Anderson? No. And you could say he has the right to be frustrated. But the New York Giants need everybody to be on the same page. And Odell Beckham's a divider, not a uniter. Eli Manning would never throw people under the bus. That's why I think a lot of Giants fans like him. That's why a lot of Giants fans like him. You're not going to win with Odell Beckham. Now, for Gettleman. He abandoned everything that he was signed up to do. The guy has cancer, I understand that. Listen, Ozzie Newsome went haywire with the draft. He drafted Lamar Jackson. He drafted Hayden Hurst, all these guys. You know why? Because it was his last year, a kumbaya. Gettleman in his health, you know what he was saying? Like, if Odell turned out to be great, it would have been the best decision. The fan base wanted it so badly. I came on here, I said it wasn't a great idea. This fan base, Odell Beckham is the most popular player. I don't like, it's very hard because I'm going to get slammed for this video. Odell Beckham Jr. is why a lot of Giants fans watch. He's exciting, he's fun, emotion on the sleeve, everything. And that's what they're going to say. You don't like emotional players. You want players that are robots. It's not the case. Odell Beckham was negative on the sidelines during that game when he's kicking the kicking that he was out of control. He was not passionate. He was not, we're going to get better. Okay? Was he upbeat? No. No. He was down, and he's throwing hurls at Eli Manning right now. And a lot of you guys are like, well, Eli deserves it. It's not going to make Eli any better. It's not going to make Eli and this team happy. It's not going to make everybody gel. It's just going to create a terrible, terrible season. You need guys all united to win big in the toughest league in the world. You need guys that are united. And you know what Dave Gettleman was brought in to do? He was brought in to be tough and principled, and he knows that Odell Beckham is a divider. He knows it. He knows Odell's all about himself. But his health problems, the ownership saying, you better pay Odell because we're not going to sell jerseys. Look at what's happening with the Oakland Raiders and Khalil Mack. It would happen with Odell Beckham and the Giants. And the ownership is so worried about the backlash. But you know what? I want to win football games. And the ownership, cowards. And Dave Gettleman, he was brought in to be tough, to build the championship team. He would let go of stars in order to win, and he is going against his MO. He was brought in here. He runs a certain style, Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman, it's like you're Brett Bielema at Arkansas. You run power offense. That's your bread and butter, okay? That's your bread and butter is running power offense. And it's like you go completely against it. It's like Golden State going into half-court basketball and not shooting threes. Dave Gettleman was brought in here to be tough, no nonsense. He laid over to Odell Beckham. He is not running the team he wants to run because the owners told him to pay Odell Beckham because Odell sells shirts, kids love Odell Beckham, and the fans will completely not be on board. But you know what? I want a winner, and I want a team that fights together. Fights together. Selfless characters. And that's why with Odell, I think it is time to trade Odell Beckham. It won't happen. We'll talk about it. I'm going to put this video out there. Maybe I'm dead wrong. I'm a Giants fan. I hope Odell scores a lot of touchdowns tomorrow. 3 TDs. But I'm frustrated with the antics. It's too much. It's over. It's over. I'm frustrated with the antics. Getting him out of the locker room will be better for the team long term. Everybody will move through it together. Everybody will accompany the old man, Eli Manning, together. Eli will have positive support in a time when, frankly, he doesn't have much physical ability anymore and he's not playing very well anymore. There's no way Eli's going to be better with this sort of thing going over. It is a civil war, and that's the fact of the matter in Giant Land. That's it. So I am on the side, get rid of Odell Beckham. And maybe some people will come to my side through time. Maybe the Giants will continue to win games. I'm excited about them going to Carolina. I'll still root for Odell Beckham. I root for my team. But that's just my opinion on everything. I'm done with Odell, and I'm going to put it out there now. I'm done with him. Period. I'm done with him. You could be done with this channel all you want. You could say, I am the most unreasonable person in the world. Fine. But that's it. I'm done with Odell Beckham today. Done.